your host, Angel. With me today are my co-hosts.
Eugene?
And Vaughn.
All right, guys, who would win? We got to comment on this. 100 men or versus one gorilla. Eugene on the front line. Us three are involved. Are we winning that?
Bro, I'm taking the 100 men, bro. We are apex predators for a reason. Sure, I'm not saying
I don't know about me.
mankind is the apex predator for a reason. Now, although we have, all the different types of gizmos and gadgets and technology or whatever, I think we don't even need that. At least that's how I've been interpreting, the question. Some people are like, there have been many different interpretations about this question, but I'm just interpreting brute force. Now, I'm also not saying that 100 men are going to walk away alive, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I think the group of men would win against the gorilla.
Yeah, I agree. The gorilla, I'm not saying the gorilla doesn't stand a chance, but your average gorilla is probably losing 9 times out of 10. 100 humans, bro, humans have stamina. Like some better than most, but the animal kingdom isn't kind to battles that last long. And this one's gonna be a long one. It has to be 100 guys. Now I'm not saying I'm gonna walk out in one piece. I may lose like an arm or a leg or two, but I think we got this one in the bag.
Yeah. The first 20 goners easily.
Gone easy.
Easy. But after that, bro, I think I also saw that some zoologists were like gorillas are fake demons. Like they're not really about that. So that kind of made me go on the side of the men a little bit more. But it's kind of funny how big of a thing this was.
Which I don't even know where it came from. Like, obviously, I saw it was like a Twitter trend or whatever, but like, I feel like people think of these kinds of hypothetical scenarios all the time, but they don't go crazy, especially not like this one.
Yeah. And we can easily solve this because we have 100 men in the draft. So just take those 100 men and take them versus the gorilla because the 2025 draft class is the lowest I'm pretty sure I saw history. I'm not too sure how true that is. Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure I saw only 101 players declared for the draft this year. How y'all feel about that? Is that concerning at all? Do you think NIL is a cause?
It probably does play a factor because like every guy from college was rushing to get to the league for that NBA money. But now if you can get like your own little piece here and there, maybe even earlier on, like why not stay at college a little longer? Um, Me who like has paid the closest eye to college ball, I just know Cooper Flag, and then the rest is just like, are they really going to turn out to be an all-star, all NBA, or is it going to be another weak draft full of role players again, aside from Cooper?
It's interesting that you bring up the NIL part because this past week, in my class, we were talking about, how has NIL influenced or changed, the college landscape in general, not just basketball, but in all sports. And a lot of these players, particularly, not a lot, but some of these players, some of the more famous ones, are making more money than actual people in the league. So it's like, maybe some of these players are making millions in college right now, a couple million. But then once they sign an NBA contract, they might only get signed for $500,000. You know what I mean? So it's like there's that. And then another thought that popped into my mind was maybe these players are a lot smarter than we think they are in terms of, oh, I'm not necessarily good enough right now, so let me try and build my stock up as much as I can while I'm still here, and maybe potentially get some more NIL deals while I'm still in college, so on and so forth. Or maybe, college is their peak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find the exact number, but yeah, I honestly don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. Um, because there's like, let's be honest, I'm pretty sure there was some draft classes. I think I saw that in 2016, 320 players declared for the draft, and there's only 60 picks.
Mm.
So I honestly think this is a good thing because I feel like right now there's a problem in basketball where there's too much talent and not enough teams, to be honest. And so I think players staying longer, even if it is because they just want that M, is a lot better than players just straight up like declaring, not even having a chance. Like, let's be honest. I'm pretty sure 150 of those guys shouldn't have even declared. So, like, I don't know. I honestly don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah. And it's that you put it into perspective like that. Like that means most of the players that declared got drafted, and then probably the rest of those 40 or whatever some odd players got picked up by, probably a G League team, or if they didn't, they just went back to college. You know what I mean? So
All right, moving on. Let's start with the lesser piece of news, I guess. Shaq is the GM for Sacramento State. And we've been seeing a lot of this lately. A lot of players have been starting to go down to the college level to become GMs. Um, Not even non-college players like Woj went
yeah.
talk being an inside reporter to be a college GM. So how do you feel about this? Are you gonna tune into Sacramento State at all, or how you feel about this?
I think Shaq will bring attention to them, but I don't know how he is as a guy who's supposed to like bring in and talent and form a team. Because it's in a GM role. You said.
Yeah, general manager.
Yeah, so I don't know how hands on he's gonna be, especially like he's a busy guy. Like, he's everywhere. So I don't know how much time and effort he's dedicating to this. Um, and I also don't think of Shaq as a guy who, picks out prospects. So this could go horribly for them, or it will be good press for them. Maybe it attracts more talent if you get to, have Shaq involved somehow. But this is such a big question mark for me.
Yeah, kind of the same. Um, I won't necessarily be tuning in to pretty good additions to the school overall. At one point last season, they were talking to Michael Vick to try and be the head coach of their football program. He ended up going to Norfolk State. But they did also hire Mike Bibby as their head coach for the basketball program. So they definitely will be getting a lot more attention. It's just, can they recruit well, and can Mike Bibby, you know, coach well enough to succeed at the college level?
Yeah, that's interesting. It seems like they're going all in on their basketball program, which I feel like is never really a bad thing. I
Mhm.
don't know much about college basketball, but I don't know how big of or small a school Sacramento State is. But I do know that state schools all are always at a disadvantage anyways. So like the fact that they're putting this much effort into growing their program can be a good thing, especially with the way the college sports are changing. It seems like you really gotta put effort into your programs now.
Yeah. Sac State isn't that big, but their football team went on a crazy run last year. I think they went undefeated, I think. And I'm pretty sure they went to a bowl game and won, but I could be wrong.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And lastly, the biggest piece of news, Popovich has officially retired from being a head coach in the NBA. He will now be president of basketball operations. So he's still involved in the Spurs organization. How do y'all feel about this? Are you surprised? Are you not?
In the words of LeBron, about damn time. Bro, it's been a long time coming. Bro has been through everything that you could imagine as a head coach on and off the court. He's head coached a dynasty. He's head coached a piss poor, trash, dog water team. He's created some of the, or helped create, some of the best players of all time, some of the best bench players of all time. He's had a stroke or two. His wife died. Like, he's been through it all, bro. So, I mean, I think he should have just gave it up entirely, but I guess it's still cool to see that he's affiliated with the Spurs in some capacity.
Yeah, I knew you couldn't peel him fully away from basketball. He had to be there in some capacity. Um, Obviously, it's disappointing that he's not going to be back, in the role that we know. But I think he's definitely got some sort of influence he'll have behind the scenes for the Spurs organization. I think that's a good thing. Um, he's been so close to the sport for so long, like you'd be kind of stupid to ignore, what he has to say and what input he has. But yeah, all good things have to come to an end, and Popovich as a head coach is a legend. But, it's on to the next chapter.
Ball is
Yeah.
life for Pop.
No, for real. He's like him and Jerry West, bro. Like, I'm not surprised that he's still involved in the organization. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I am surprised he's not a head coach anymore. I'm not surprised as in like, wow, he still had plenty of time left. Like, no, bro. I'm surprised because he like was determined to be around, bro. And like every time someone brought up him retiring, he like shut it down immediately. So I am surprised. I wonder if like someone had to be like, look, dude, like we need you to like we need someone who can go do these like trips and like we're concerned for you. Be president of basketball operations instead. Help us run the team, help us draft, because he was a GM before he was a coach. So I'm pretty sure, like let's be honest, bro. Like they got back-to-back Rookie of the Years. They have the Aaron Fox. Like they're looking like they can cook up, and I feel like Pop as president of operations, like that might be better for them because he knows the team better than the front office people. So he can probably get trades that will actually help them win rather than like, build that system. But yeah, good luck. Good luck to the Spurs organization.
It will be interesting. It will be interesting to see how the Spurs move from here on out, though. Like no matter at how the Spurs performed, his job was never in jeopardy. You know what I mean? So like it's literally been him, probably Steve Kerr and Spoelstra that their jobs have never been in jeopardy despite how their team is playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know anything about this assistant coach that, is now the head coach. Mm-hmm. But is he gonna, I don't know, turn out like a Becky Hammond, or is he gonna be on his way out next year? So I think that is something to keep in mind entering next season.
True. How will they play underneath a new coach for the first time in Literally, I think I've only ever known Pop as coach.
I was about to say our whole lifetime.
Yeah,
and then
our
some.
whole lifetime. So it'll be very interesting to see. All right, moving on to our bean cards. How are y'all looking? I haven't checked mine in a while, low key.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Mine is looking terrible.
Oh no. I'm sure there's some that you can mark off that you just haven't realized yet.
Well, okay. So Jalen Brunson hit a game winner. Technically, I didn't say buzzer beater. I said game winner.
That is, yeah. And it was basically but no, because they had a possession after that.
Yeah. So he hit his he hit his game winner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping y'all play tonight, right?
Yes.
I need the Clippers to beat y'all, bro. I need them to beat y'all. Because if they don't,
Oh yeah, because you have 5th seed beating a 4th seed.
yeah. Lakers are out, so I couldn't get a Luka 40-10-10 game or a game-winning buzzer beater. Okay, I'm counting the post-game scuffle with Giannis and Halliburton's dad. I'm counting that.
I feel like you can count that multiple times because the Warriors and Rockets had a post game scuffle too.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
I must have missed that game. Because I saw they were like scrapping on the court, but I didn't know at what point that was. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The referee slander. I've seen that literally everywhere. Yeah, bro. I might be chalked. Mine might be chalked though. Haven't had a coach get ejected. We're at two sweeps right now. I need one more. And Tatum has been on the verge of 40 points every single game, but he hasn't hit 40.
I did get the triple double, not by Jokic and Luka. Cade got that in game 4. I've seen Steven Adams out there being strong, but not enough to just say like that's a highlight. I've seen this man like pick up or not pick up, but like body Quentin Post out of like a scuffle. But I don't think it's enough. Shaq criticized big man. Bro, I got the opposite. I had Shaq praising Rudy Gobert the other day.
Of all people, bro.
Yeah, so that was crazy. I don't think we're getting Fire Nico chance, to be honest. It would have happened in a Lakers game, and I didn't hear any from what I saw. I did scratch off Anthony Edwards being a menace. I don't know if I said that last time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Knicks have been surprisingly been playing their bench at least a little more than usual. Mitchell Robinson been getting 20 minutes by himself, so Coach Tibbs is making me a fool. 50-point game. That's still the question. I have no clue. Maybe today, maybe never. Stat line never seen before. So I said stat line. So I'm thinking like this player puts up this amount of points or this and this. But there have been stats broken, like biggest comeback to like biggest win margin. Like Celtics did that against the Magic, and then the Timberwolves beat the Lakers with the most missed threes. But
Yeah,
I
that's crazy.
yeah, I wouldn't count any of that as a stat line. Curry, oh my God. Any clutch game where he's shooting a three, they just know that I put this on my bin card because it misses, it doinks every single time.
Curry is looking like we'll get to that later, but Curry.
But I was able to scratch Giannis averaged 30 points in series. He averaged 34. And then I was able to scratch off team scores under 30 very early on. So I could get Bing if Miles Turner gets 5 blocks in the game. And if he's going up against two centers, basically, against the Cavs, I feel like that's very real. That could happen.
True. Let's see. The Spin the Rock one literally hasn't gotten a scratch since last episode.
Really?
So if you want to watch, Knicks choked at home. In game, when they were up, game 5 when they were up 3-1. Pistons and Knicks close game. Pistons came away with the win. So Knicks choked at home. That's the only one though. Lakers in 5. I can't get that. Yeah. See, Vaughn starts out facing the Heat. Can't get that.
We haven't slandered Doc Rivers.
We have slandered Doc Rivers, but I mentioned that last
Okay.
last episode. Eugene, like, yeah, a lot of this we did like in the first week. Yeah, Eugene confused on why fans think a team will win. You haven't said anything about that. If the Warriors lose this game 7, oh my god, I will scratch that off because I will be so happy. Celtics drop a game to the Magic. I think that happened last week. Tonight, depending on if we win or not, could be the last chance I can get for Nuggets play Jokic for too long in a close game. Vaughn underplays Celtics playoffs. We're still early, so I could still get that. Cavs are actually a second round exit. I don't think that's gonna happen with the Pacers, honestly. The Pacers aren't looking good. Jokic triple double. I don't know if he's gotten one yet, actually. Surprisingly, he hasn't gotten one, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to double check that later. Someone complains about Ben Simmons' playing time. We haven't done that. And Tatum has a bad game and Celtics win. Also hasn't happened yet. For my personal one, I low-key got some good one. Brooks versus Warriors 2.0. Currently happening.
Yep.
Terrible ref game, bad call both ways. Happened in a Knicks Pistons game. Yeah. Where the game where they didn't call a foul on that Malik Beasley 3. In that first half, they were only calling bad calls for the Knicks. Now in the second half, they weren't calling anything for the Pistons. So yeah, I can scratch that off. Knicks baddie courtside edit hasn't happened yet, surprisingly. I'm so surprised that hasn't happened yet. Neither team went at home. Hasn't happened yet. Game 7 in the first round. I can scratch that off. Gentleman's sweep in the second round on both sides. Hasn't happened yet. Random bench player wins a game. I don't think that has happened yet. Bronny has a good playoff game.
Didn't even touch the floor.
Yeah. Cade 40-point game. So close, bro. He had 37 one night. I was so close. All-time playoff moment. I was going to count Kawhi's like super efficient game, but I'm not because I feel like that's not a moment.
I mean, I think we can count your background, bro.
Oh, true.
I ain't gonna lie. I think we can. I was watching that. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I will count that then. And then McConnell and Turner solidified all-time Pacers. Depending on how they do against the Cavs, this could happen. Because McConnell, for how like little he does, he low-key is so valuable to the Pacers still. And then Miles Turner. I
think he already is though. Low key, like he's been there since I think Paul George. No,
he's been there his whole career, like literally his whole career.
Yeah,
he's seen Paul George, he's seen Lance Stevenson days, he's seen it all.
He's not like a. I don't think he's a Roy Hibbert, but like I feel like he's done enough. He's probably not winning a chip, not with the Pacers.
But I feel like depending on what happens in the Cavs Pacers game, if he like puts on a performance, he will definitely. But I don't know. I feel like for someone who's always in trade talks, like I can't really call him an all-time Pacer yet. All right. That's our Bing updates. No Bings yet. Unfortunate. But we scratched off a lot more than all of us thought. So, we're getting close. Moving on. Today, this episode solidifies it, bro. We are officially a century old. This is our 100th episode, bro. I have some moments, not moments. I went back and I listened to our very first playoff, not first playoff, our very first episode. I have all of our predictions, so I'm gonna bring that up. And I also scrolled all the way back to the beginning of our group chat. So I also have the first message I sent y'all. But before I go through all that, y'all want to talk about 100 episodes for yourself?
Bro, it's been crazy, bro. Like, I mean, it's not something that I didn't think was gonna happen, but it's like we really here. We still doing it. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
like, a lot of people don't have like ambition. At least is what I've been learning,
Mhm.
as of late. So it's like it's just cool to talk hoops with the homies. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, to get to 100, I was even thinking of like, what's the long-term plan? What's the short-term plan? I'm just like, if we just do this week by week, like we go where we go. But to 100, we hit triple digits now. Like this is years in the making. It's just wild to think about for me.
Yeah, bro. I think I'm very proud of us for hitting 100 because, like, let's be honest, like, we're not like a big podcast. We have maybe 80 followers, maybe 90 across like every single platform we're on. And the fact that we like aren't really like, I don't think any of us have ever brought up not wanting to do it.
Mhm.
So like the fact that we're still here, we're probably like Eugene not so long ago was bringing up topics for like as far as next year. Like we're very much like we're still gonna keep going, and that's pretty crazy to me. Um, yeah, bro. Let me see. So the very first message I ever sent. Oh my god, did I forget to screenshot it?
Start scrolling again, man.
Yeah, yeah. Let me go right back. Let me
We'll
scroll
just
up there.
pause real quick.
So for depending on how long y'all been listening, first there was like four of us. It
Mhm.
was us three, and then our friend Tyler was on the podcast as well. And Tyler wasn't like here for like a little bit. Tyler was here for like
It was at least a
almost,
season.
yeah, almost an
Yeah.
entire season. He didn't stop being on the podcast until right before playoffs is when he stopped doing it. But like he did our play-in review with us. Like so we had four people for a long time. Um the very first message, it was Eugene and Tyler, because I was like, okay, let me see if they're in first. And I said, I have an idea that I'm super serious about, and I want y'all to involved. Y'all responded quick as hell. Like literally as soon as I said that, y'all responded. Um, I said this is gonna sound mad corny, but I want to do a podcast with y'all about NBA. I feel like so many NBA podcasts aren't just about fans or but are athletes and media. Because at the time, we started this in 2022, and at the time, every basketball podcast really was like a member of the media or a former athlete.
Mhm.
Now there's like three big podcasts that are just fans. But back then, that was literally the only basketball podcast out there. Um, y'all said yes. I messaged Vaughn, said the exact same thing. Vaughn said yes. Now we're here. So that's pretty crazy. And then we started the board pretty quickly after that. The board was an idea. I think it was Eugene's idea. The board.
Really?
I'm pretty sure
I
I
don't,
went
I don't
back and
remember.
listened to it, and Eugene wanted us to like have a board for all of our predictions, because in the early episodes we made like so many predictions. So like we had a board. I like at one point it was an actual board with sticky notes on it, but I lost it, and sticky notes would fall off. So I I got rid of it, and I like had to go back at the end of that first season and find all of them. I had to re-listen to every episode. Um, and I wrote them down, so I have them all here. Do y'all remember any of your first predictions?
No, definitely not.
Not from that first year, no.
Oh, this is gonna be so funny.
When was it? Like 2022?
2022.
So it's probably
Uh,
some Warrior slander in there. Somebody had to be.
There was a lot of slander in there. I mean, there was the craziest one was Bond when he said Justin Jackson will be in China. That's the craziest one on there. Um, the best one is actually from Tyler. Tyler had the best prediction on there. We were 5 games into the season, and he said that the Nets season is over. And literally that year, the Nets blew it all up. So that was the best prediction on there.
That was when Ben Simmons was still on the team?
That was when all of them were still on the team. It was like it was KD, Kyrie, Harden. That was when it was still those three. And yeah, Ben Simmons. And or I don't know if Ben Simmons was on the team yet. I could be wrong. But yeah, we were literally 5 games in, because I put that in here, 5 games into the season. And he said that, and literally, yeah, they blew it all up that year.
Man's a fortune teller out here, bro. We gotta bring him back.
Another crazy one. More so like the not the worst one, but the most far off one was Eugene saying Sexton would be the Damian Lillard of Utah.
So far off. So far. And it was coming to fruition at the start of that season. And he just I don't even know what happened. It just
didn't happen.
Yeah, he just plummeted.
I think it just became the Lauri Markkanen show, and it really left no room for him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very fair. It also just didn't help that like Utah like did not want to commit to like going far.
Yeah.
So like he kind of just got sent to purgatory after that season, bro.
Yeah.
Second worst one. Actually, this might be worse than Eugene's. I said, and we reference it all the time. To this day, we bring up this prediction, and that is Pelicans are going to be a dynasty.
I knew exactly what you were gonna say. I knew exactly what you were gonna say. That's a core memory at this point.
Yeah, bro. I mean, we reference it like all the time now. Like every time we talk about how the Pelicans will blow it up, one of us will be like, "Oh, so much for like." We'll be like, "Dynasty's not happening." Yeah. Another.
I was gonna say, and they on the verge of blowing it up too right now. So
yeah, they're on the verge of really like, yeah, bro, they're really on the verge of blowing it up. Vaughn, also, our bad ones. I think this is the only year where our bad ones were really bad. Vaughn said Clippers will go to the finals that year.
I remember that.
They make me sick, bro.
I was like one of the first couple years of Kawhi and Paul George, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were looking good, bro. But yeah, bro, that's the year that Vaughn's hatred for the Clippers started to bubble up. It wasn't as bad back then, but that's what really cemented it, bro. Even Tyler had a pretty bad one. He said Kings will be poverty, and that was the year that the Kings were a 3rd seed. And yeah, that year was really bad. Our good ones though, because we also had some insanely good ones. Eugene basically was the only person I knew talking about Benedict Mathurin.
Hey, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
That
He's
whole
still
season.
hooping.
Yeah, exactly. So you predicted Rookie of the Year. He unfortunately didn't win it. But that year we kind of counted like what you said. We still said that's one of the better predictions because every time you talked about him, you were right. Everything about Benedict Mathurin. I was called a madman for this. I got so much hate from all 3 of you at the time. I said Blazers missed the postseason, and
Yeah.
I was correct. Vaughn also got a lot of hate for this because if I remember correctly, Vaughn said this, then Tyler said the poverty thing. Vaughn said Kings will make the postseason.
Not only did they were one of the top teams.
Took Warriors to 7, bro. A year after the chip, they took them to 7. Some other small ones we have. Eugene thought the Jazz will make the playoffs.
Bro, I had high hopes that season for the Jazz. I really did.
I'm pretty sure all three of us said that the Thunder were gonna make the play-in. I'm pretty sure that year, I think either they did or they barely didn't, if I remember correctly.
I think they narrowly missed. I think they narrowly missed that season.
Vaughn said the Lakers will miss the playoffs that year. I don't remember if they did or didn't. 2022, the Lakers.
I think that season we missed. Or did we get deleted in the first round by the Nuggets?
I don't remember. That was such a long time ago.
Was that the year of the D'Lo trade?
Oh,
I can't
That we
remember.
got him?
yeah, I think that was the year y'all got him.
So I would have been dead wrong then, because that was Western Conference Finals year.
I don't want to talk about last year's predictions just because it was literally last year. So if anything, if you want to hear our predictions from last year, go listen to our episodes.
Go watch our episodes.
Yeah, go watch our episodes. I have some. So I went back and listened to the first episode, and I have some notes from there. One, I don't know if y'all remember, but we almost lost that episode because we recorded it on this platform called Riverside, which was like marketed as made to record podcasts virtually over. Like that was their whole shtick. Was that like, oh, you can record high quality podcasts without being in person, use our platform. And we almost lost the entire episode. So we never used it again. We like literally almost lost that entire episode. We were having problems because Vaughn could like at times wouldn't even be able to join.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but we saved the episode. But Vaughn, if you go back and listen to that episode, Vaughn is so quiet. So I had to not only boost his audio, but you can tell that we couldn't hear Vaughn because there'd be times where Vaughn would be in the middle of talking and one of us would just talk over him.
Oh, I remember that.
Because it was never made for mobile, and I was recording it on mobile, but I found a way to like force it to work on my phone. And I think Angel did customer support. It's like, yeah, he never should have been able to get that working at all, but we did. So that's why it turned out so bad. But at least we got it recorded that one.
Yeah. So Vaughn has a horrible audio quality. We talk like there'd be times where Vaughn's like 3 words into a sentence, and one of us would just start talking because none of us could hear him. Or Vaughn would try to join in the conversation, and we would just continue it without him. So you could hear it when you listen to it because, like, of course, when you have both AirPods in, you can hear Vaughn very faintly in the background. But yeah, that's kind of funny. And then I gladly boast about how much of a casual I am. I don't know why I did that, but in the first episode, I talk about how I only watch All-Star Game and then the playoffs. So that's kind of funny. Eugene also, not as bad as me, Eugene talked about how he watches like almost every game at the beginning of the season. Then he drops off. So like we kind of know more ball now because of this podcast.
Yeah.
Because I must have just like chosen not to remember how much of a casual I was back then. Because I admitted to it. I was not shy about it at all. But now I watch almost a game like almost every day now. Eugene, we call him Eugenie for a reason. In that episode, he says, "I can see the Celtics winning in the next 2 years."
That's crazy. That's crazy. As a Laker fan too.
Now you won't even say they'll make it to the finals. Now you won't even admit to that. But in that episode, you go, "I can only see y'all winning as soon as 2 years from now," and they do, bro.
That's insane.
That's all I have. As far as the 100 episode. Another thing that I think I mentioned before in the past when we did our very first birthday episode, I did mention about how I made like a verbal note to myself. I didn't really tell y'all how like my goal was like 30 episodes because that's how many episodes it would be to cover a whole season from regular season to playoffs. And 70 episodes later, we're still going strong, bro. Which is crazy. Yeah. I appreciate you two and of course the people who tune in. I mean, for the longest time, our best episode was like the one of the very first ones we did, which was the best player to never win a ring. For years, that was our best video. It had 45 views. Now the March Madness special we did last year has like 96. But for a while that was our best video. Yeah. Moving on. Playoff talk. We have 2 game 7s going on, so we're still in the first round. Let's start on the east side of things first, like always. Do we even need to talk about Cavs Heat?
No.
Before we get into playoff talk, if y'all have been enjoying the past 100 episodes and you're listening on the audio platforms, make sure you give us that good old 5 stars, leave a review on every podcast platform. So check us out there for the audio format. We're on YouTube for video format, so make sure you like and subscribe there. Again, thank you for tuning in for those who do. And then we're also on all social media platforms at Spin the Rock. Check us out there. I said we're gonna stay on Instagram. So far, we're staying on Instagram. So yeah, make sure you follow us there. Cavs Heat. Eugene kind of said it. We don't really need to talk about them. I think that 4th game, I was in a car dealership as it was going on. That was the saddest game 4 I have ever seen as a basketball fan. The Cavs were playing their 15th man in the 4th quarter. Like, it was bad, bro. It was bad.
Like historically bad, like the worst series ever if you go by like point differential. It was like that bad of a beatdown.
If this was the first year of the play-ins, that series would make them take it away, bro. Like, it would be like, this is what happens when you let a 10 seed into the playoffs. That's how bad that series was. But Cavs 4-0 sweep. Moving on. Pacers gentleman sweep. We said last episode how we really don't see any way the Bucks could win, and they kind of threw that game. Did y'all tune into that game 5?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I think I just saw it through the highlights or the low lights, I guess you could say.
I also didn't tune in. I tuned in for the 4th quarter, so I saw them fumble the bag. I think it was like every team who has ever been up 7 that late in the 4th quarter have won the game. It's kind of insane how badly they fumbled that game. It's gotten to the point where people are speculating that Giannis is gonna leave.
I mean, me personally, I feel like he should have last season, like even before Drew.
Yeah, bro. I mean, the Bucks. It's looking bad for the Bucks too. They have nothing left over. They have no young prospects. They have no picks. Dame is out. Like Dame might be out of the league very soon. He ruptured his Achilles, and at that age, already struggling from the last injury you had, bro. It's kind of sad. to see him go out like that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
like,
the Bucks' future is bleak.
I don't know how, if you're Giannis, you convince yourself that what's best is to stay for you or the franchise. Um, I know he's got his large sense of loyalty, but like, how do you stay?
No,
Because
for real.
what could this team do that makes a trade that could make you competitive again? I don't think one exists.
I
Yeah, nah.
It's over.
I honestly think even the Bucks, even if he does want to stay, they gotta trade him. Because if you have no first round picks, like
For years, like 6 years of no first rounders. It's wild.
Yeah, because the Thunder got all of them.
and you have no first round picks, literally no one in your team is young. You don't have no young prospects. Like if I'm the Bucks, even if Giannis is like, I want to stay, I would be like, that was an awful person. I would trade him because there's no future for them. And let's say you do try to make a big trade to keep Giannis, you're just putting yourself further into the hole.
Yeah, but I mean, like they're gonna have to rebuild, but you can't rebuild with no picks. You know what I mean? So they're gonna have to trade at least for second round picks, and then when the time comes, because if they let him walk, that's not gonna be good. That's gonna be even worse for the Bucks. So it's like while he's still on contract, because I don't even know what his contract currently looks like right now, but while he's still on contract, at least propose, like be like, hey, if we gave y'all Giannis, what are we gonna get in return? You know, they could easily get 3 or 4 first rounds, I think, and maybe a decent player, but I don't know. The Bucks are not looking great right now.
Yeah, bro. So he won't be a free agent until 2027. So yeah, bro. If he declines his player option, that is.
Mm-hmm.
So like, bro, if I'm the Bucks, I don't care what he says. I would honestly trade him as soon as this year. So that way at least you can get some picks for this upcoming draft. You can tank for next year's draft. But yeah.
But please, bro, please, they need to trade with someone in the East. If Giannis goes west,
Oh
it's
my god.
chicken wraps, bro.
It's
It's
game over.
chicken wraps. Or like this would never happen, but like do like a Giannis and KD or something. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be superstar for superstar if you're gonna make a trade like that. But
Yeah.
do not send him over to the West.
Yeah.
I don't even know who would be the front runner for him, which is like
I
it's a
saw
mystery
Spurs.
box.
I
That would be scary.
saw rumors, which take with a grain of salt with rumors this early, that the Spurs are very interested in Giannis.
But see, again, like would he fit? Probably, maybe. Giannis and Wemby, like that's actually disgusting to think about. But
Giannis would be in the Aaron Fox.
yeah, and to Chris Paul.
Well, I think Chris Paul would be trade bait, low key.
Hey, maybe to the Bucks, maybe. He'll go to the team he lost to in the finals.
Yeah, that would be awful.
But yeah, bro. I mean, they just, bro. I don't know. Sending him to the West, the league is gonna. They might have to get rid of conferences, bro. Like actually.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. But it's already looking rough for the East now. I can't imagine if Giannis leaves. I mean, the Bucks are struggling this year, anyways.
Yeah. Send him to the Knicks, bro. Why not?
Send him to the Magic. Send that man to the Hawks.
Give him to the Heat, bro.
And of course, surprisingly the biggest piece of news to come out of this series, besides the Giannis probably leaving, was Tyrese Halliburton's dad, and Giannis getting into it after Game 5. He is I don't know if you saw, but he's officially banned from every Indiana Pacers home game.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future, whatever that means.
Basically, until people forget is what that basically means. How y'all feel about that? Do y'all think this is as big of a deal as it has been? I think personally it's pretty bad look.
Like I always knew like there's gonna be a heated series, but when someone's dad is coming on the court to taunt you right in your face, now that's just you can't do that. That's diabolical. Um, I think the punishment is like fitting. Like you just don't do that. If he wasn't someone's dad, I think he would have gotten off worse. But it's it
That
is
would have
what
been
it is.
forever.
And every NBA game.
Yeah, because it would have been like, how did you get on the court?
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely is a bad look. I think if it happened during the regular season, he wouldn't have gotten this punishment. I don't think he would have been punished at all. But because it's the playoffs, they're not trying to have that happen during the playoffs again. So therefore, depending on how far the Pacers make it, he'll be banned for probably the entirety of the playoffs, I think. And then it'll reset once the new season starts. But I mean, like, should he have been banned? I'm not a father, but it's definitely got to be hard for him because he's probably been to countless Pacers games. You know what I mean? Seeing your son ball out on the biggest stage, brightest lights, living vicariously through your son. And now that you can't do that live in person, he's got to do that behind a screen at home. It's got to suck. And I don't even know what was going through his head at that point. Like, why are you trash talking any NBA player? Like, I don't know if his dad played in the NBA, for him to do that, but like, there's no reason. It's not that deep, like you knew they were gonna win. Keep pushing, bro.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Knicks Pistons. It would be
Pistons.
3. It would be 3-3 right now. We gotta talk about it. The biggest controversy that probably has happened, besides of course the Albert thing, no foul on that Malik Beasley game. Knicks have now officially beaten Pistons 4-2. Honestly, it should be 3-3. How'd y'all feel about the series? How much of it did you tune into?
So I didn't watch the Malik Beasley foul game, but I watched the final game. And I watched the second half of the final game. And it was pretty neck and neck from what I remember. Pretty much all the way through. And the Knicks didn't win that game though. The Pistons lost it. Once it started coming down the stretch, the Pistons, they were playing good, but not great, and then a little bit later, they started playing sloppy basketball. They started to panic once their sets started dissolving. It seemed like they didn't know what to do. And then that final Pistons possession, bro. Malik Beasley, the biggest moment of his career, probably. Cade Cunningham passes him the ball from half court. He's wide open on the wing. Cannot catch the ball to win, or that'd be to tie the game. The series overall, the series was great. The series was probably, I think, it was on par with Clippers Nuggets, at least in the East side of things. I think it was on par with the Clippers and Nuggets. You know, it was exciting to see the Pistons in the playoffs again, going against a good Knicks team. The Knicks should have won that fairly easy, but you know, it's a better look on the Pistons losing than the Knicks necessarily winning.
I walk away from the series thinking Knicks are frauds. They shouldn't be proceeding, at least not right now. There should be a game 7 at the very least. You can't beat this Pistons team with such ease, even though they're down Isaiah Stewart, they're down Jaden Ivey. You get the benefit of the ref on a one game, basically handing you the W, and you lucked out with the Malik Beasley open three. You just missed it. Like, I don't know how you walk away from this series as a Knicks fan feeling good, because now you're fighting the Celtics, an all-time team basically. It's just this has to be Coach Thibs last year, right? Like,
Hey, we've said that before.
we have. Like, if you lose in the second round as the Knicks, like, what do you do? Like, who do you trade? Do you look for luck in the draft, or is the coaching decision, if you change him, like, is it going to drastically shift how everyone plays? Like, I don't know how this bodes well for the Knicks' championship hopes. But maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself. Maybe they do go crazy against the Celtics. But I'm not. I'm not looking like the future's bright for this team.
Yeah, bro. This is the biggest frauds in the entire playoffs. Biggest frauds. I mean, I watched every game this season. Every game was a close game. The only game that wasn't a close game was the first game where the Knicks went on that insane like 20-0 run to win it. But after that, every game was a close game. It really was. Every game that the Pistons lost was not because the Knicks played better, but because the Pistons just crumbled. And that doesn't make me confident in the Knicks at all. That makes me even more solidified that they're frauds. Because like the game 3 the missed foul call, you basically get handed a W. The refs literally go on and say, "Oh yeah, we missed that call." Like, they admitted to it. It was probably such a blatant missed call too. Then you have the next game where you're up 3-1 and they win at home. Like, the Pistons literally make it 3-2. You come to this game, Pistons are literally they kept making dumb mistakes. The Jalen Brunson thing, I think this one is Asar Thompson, been defending his ass off all game. Literally all game, he was one of the, all series, he was probably the best defender in this entire series. And he makes one mistake, and Brunson, of course, casses it, gives him the lead. And then, of course, Malik Beasley couldn't tie up the game.
An eternity of a fumble, bro.
An eternity of a fumble. I mean, it just doesn't look good for the Knicks because the Celtics aren't making mistakes like that, honestly. But we'll save that for our second round predictions. Celtics, Magic. Last time we talked, I think it was 2-1.
I think so.
Boston ends up taking the next two games. How much of the series did you catch?
I think I watched almost every game. Paulo, Franz, they're hoopers. The rest of the team, great defense, but you can't score a bucket to save your life. It's wild. I think they'll try to make a trade this summer for a big free agent to help Franz and Paulo, but they had no chance. They got their one game we said they would get. After that, it was over. It didn't matter if Jason Tatum missed a game, if Drew Holiday was sitting out. Celtics still, was the better team and came out on top.
Celtics in 5. I didn't watch any of the series. It was pretty much like another Cavs Heat series, in my opinion. So yeah,
GG's to the Magic. I agree with you, Vaughn. I think they might do something big. This might be the first time we see the Magic trade away young guys. We might see some guys who've been on this team since their entire career actually leave. Jalen Suggs, bye.
see, you wouldn't want to be here.
Yeah. Jalen Suggs, get out of here. Gary Harris, I loved you on the Nuggets. You're gone. Yeah, I think they need some vet presence. I think it's about time. I think they need to do what the Pistons did, and I think they need to get some vet presence on the Magic. Because look how well it worked out for the Pistons.
I will say though, it is impressive. Again, same boat as the Pistons. It's nice seeing them in the playoffs again. Trying to become more marketable than they have been in recent years. So maybe if they can, if this season helped, they could, get that big signing that they may or may not be looking for.
Yeah. All right. Second round predictions. Tomorrow, Cavs Pacers play. How do y'all feel about the series? Who do you think will take it? Are you tuning in?
I got Cavs in 6.
Cavs in 6.
I also want to say Cavs in 6. I hate that we always do repeats, but it's just the most comfortable option. Pacers are way better than I think people give them credit for, but like the Cavs are just, they've been rolling all year long. Their duo in the guards, the duo among the centers is just really tough to beat. I feel like there'll be more higher scoring games than like the sub 100 point games. At least among this team, there will be very little defense, which is crazy because they got the depoy on the Cavs team. But I just think that's how it's going to shake out.
Cavs in 6. I think the Pacers are good enough to maybe even take it to 7. Maybe. But I honestly think that the Cavs are going to be shell-shocked with how good the Pacers, how much of a fight the Pacers are going to put up. And I think people are sleeping on the Pacers because there was some times in that Pacers-Bucks series where the Pacers dog-walked the Bucks. And they are offensively strong just as much as they are defensively. And I think the Cavs, if they're not on their toes, if they're not respecting the Pacers, I think they will drop a few games.
Yeah, I think like as much as I talk about or like give praise to the Pacers, I even think I'm sleeping on them, at least against the Cavs. Because I really wanted to say Cavs in 5. But I do think the Pacers are capable of taking one in Indiana and one in Cleveland. Not necessarily both at home, but I think they can take at least 1 and 1 home and away.
Yeah. All right. And how are y'all going to tune into the series at all?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna really try.
Yeah, same. I think I'm excited to see what the Cavs actually look like. Because to be honest, as much as they dog walk the Heat, I feel like we haven't seen what they actually look like. So, I'm excited to see that. Knicks Celtics. Same questions. Who's gonna win? Are you tuning in?
I'm gonna give it Celtics in 5. I've been a Knicks hater historically, but I really don't like this Knicks team now. So I got to ride with my team all the way. I'd say maybe the Knicks have hope in one game. If the Magic can do it, the Knicks can do it. But if the Celtics are at full power, it's gentleman's sweep.
I mean, I hate both of these teams, but I'll probably say Celtics in 6, only because I think the Knicks home court advantage is, that's one of the toughest places to play. And although the Pistons, they did win there, I don't know, second round, New York, MSG, it's like all the ingredients to win. You know what I mean? So, um, I think it'll be Celtics in 6. There's no way it goes 7.
I think it'll be Celtics in 5. Fun fact: the Pistons only won away. Pistons didn't win a single game at home.
That's tough.
So I'm just saying, Madison Square Garden, the tickets are too expensive for it to be the same as it was in previous years. When I was watching those games, they got quiet, bro. And that they got quiet. So I think the Celtics are used to playing in big environments like that. And I feel like, I think the Knicks will win one at home, but that's about it. I think their only win is going to come in at home. If it wasn't the offseason, I would put it on the board, but we don't do predictions for for postseason. But I honestly, truly believe the Knicks will only win at home. And I think the Celtics are going to.
Me saying they win one is being generous because this team has not won against any good team in the regular season one single time. So
no, right. And it's like, again, like realistically, I want to say 5, but I really think they can pull 2 out at home.
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, Dibs, if you're listening, Cat is your secret to winning these games.
Yeah.
I think Cat is literally the secret to winning a game. I think the Celtics, everyone else, the Celtics can stop. But I think Cat is the only one who I feel like might be iffy. Because Kristoff, as good as he is, Cat is a different kind of breed as a big, and he can kind of do it all. So I feel like if I'm Dibs, I'm using Cat way more. But I feel like they can shut down Brunson, they can shut down Hart. They have shut down OG on a newbie before. It's not like this is the first time the Celtics have gone against him. So I feel like if they want to win these games, it's got to be through Cat. Other than that, bro, just feel like the Celtics, they literally held the Magic to no more than 100. Like, even Magic's best quality was defense, and they still scored consistently against them. Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Kristaps, like they all missed games against the Magic. Like, I just feel like the Knicks they're gonna get exposed this series, and I'm thanking God for that. All right, we got to talk about the only series that's finished, unfortunately, on the West side. Lakers Timberwolves. Timberwolves got it in 5. Did you watch this series? How do you feel about this series?
Just like he said, bro. Ant-Man, Batman, Superman, Timberwolves in 5, bro. Bro, watching this last game, I was watching it with my roommate, and I was like, it was like in the third quarter. I was like, we're not going to win this game. Like, this is the game we go home. Well, stay home. You know what I mean? Because, like, couldn't ever take the lead. And then once we did, they take it back, the lead would change. So I came to a conclusion, and what's the phrase? I coped with my feelings in the moment. You know what I mean? Like I was like, this is it. Like it's not Lakers in 5. It's Timberwolves in 5. But I'm happy for Anthony Edwards. Like Brody kicked out his idol in Kevin Durant last season, and he kicked out one of the strongest duos in the NBA in Lakers and LeBron and Luka. You know what I mean? So Now, to our defense, apparently what I've been seeing, LeBron sprained his MCL. That's why he went down. Luka had he had like some like back spasms, and Austin Reeves was playing on like a sprained toe or something like that. So like we weren't fully healthy, but they were trying to thug it out and try to win that series. But at the end, on top of that, don't even get me started with Rudy Gobert, bro. Literally having the best game of his career, not life, of his entire basketball career. He played the best game against the Los Angeles Lakers at crypto.com arena, bro. I had never been so tilted in my life. Never in my life.
Yeah, I honestly, it was bad, bro. I honestly had so much faith in them. I thought they would at least make it to 7. Timberwolves, they exploited that a lot of stuff about the Lakers. I mean, uh Jaden McDaniels continued to do his thing. Uh I feel validated because we on this podcast always say how Luka is not a good defender. And this series just, I think for the first time, people are realizing how bad of a defender he actually is. Because that man was getting cooked out there. Like, actually cooked. He would get blown by so many times. And he was just kind of, it's gone to the point where people are are not seeing Luka as this godsend to basketball anymore. For the first time, I'm seeing him receive hate. LeBron, rumors coming out that he might leave LA, that he might retire soon. Uh, we got to talk about how in the fourth quarter they played 5 guys that entire game. I think it was game 3 that they did that. I don't know, because I didn't realize it until I got on social media and saw the post game conference where like, oh, you only played 5. They JJ Redick only played 5 guys in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't sub anyone in. Yeah, bro. It just seems like a lot of bad decisions were made for the Lakers. JJ Redick is of course staying, but like that shows how new of a coach he is.
Yeah, I was like, it's his first season. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, obviously blunders like this are going to happen, and by the time we get to the first round and this deep into the playoffs, players are either going to play hurt or just straight up be hurt. So hopefully, we learn from this, grow from this, and play better next year. But and also figure out a system for Luka to thrive in as well, because like I feel like we haven't really done that. It's been a lot of like iso ball, whether that's with Luka, LeBron, or Austin Reeves, or even like any of the role players, like I don't know, Gabe Vincent and Vanderbilt and Finney Smith. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of iso ball. So I feel like hopefully next season, everyone or majority of everyone comes back and we can actually play with full synergy.
I think you gotta rework the roster. You either have to shoot the 3 or you have to play defense. If you don't do either of those, you're gone. So goodbye,
Yeah,
Jackson
we also
Hayes.
need a center. Like,
yeah, the tallest guy in the court would be Rui Hachimura for the Lakers. Sometimes I'm like, that is insane. Bro, but like the Timberwolves, like I gotta give credit to them. I didn't think Julius Randle had it in him to be as consistent as he was this series, offensively, defensively. He was always finding ways to be effective. Um, Obviously, we know Rudy Gobert's legacy game. But even the game before that, clutch time comes along. Nas Reed is hitting shots. I don't think he had like a crazy game on the stat sheet, but it was like every shot he made was like momentum swinging or like cut down like the Lakers momentum. And then of all things that happened, I saw Nas Reed lock up Luka Doncic. And that was insane to witness. I didn't know like I know I was surprised by him last year when he was a contributor defending Jokic, but Luka is like a different category, like guard, shifty, uh, very skilled, and then Nas Reed made a mess of him. It's just that's how it worked out. It's just either Jaden McDaniels killing you, Nas Reed. Obviously Anthony Edwards was a menace all series long. So it was exciting for me to watch, but I'm never gonna doubt Ant-Man again.
Yeah, no facts.
I took Lakers in 7, and I feel so bad for it.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's. I think the Timberwolves are going to the conference finals, bro.
I was about to say, like, this next series, whoever they go against, is also going to be a really interesting series.
We can move on to this next series, Rockets Warriors. Game 7 is tomorrow. The Warriors went up 3-1, and they basically got blown out in back-to-back games since then. How have y'all been watching this series? How y'all feel? Who do you think will win that Game 7?
I've been watching this one closely, and it's been disappointing to watch from a Warriors perspective, because they could have closed it out 2 times over, and they didn't. It's a lot of lazy basketball. Like I'm seeing guys charge at the rim. You could go up for a layup, maybe draw a foul. No, they kick it out, thinking they're the Boston Celtics, and all of a sudden you got Gary Payton the second shooting a 3. It's just bad looks all around. Now I hear Steve Kerr like, "Oh, now we got to play Jonathan Kuminga Game 7, even though we didn't play him all year." Like, I don't know what their mentality is, but it really doesn't look like playoff basketball. When I'm watching Draymond get a blatant, flagrant foul for no reason, I'm like, what are you really playing for here? Because it doesn't look like you're going for a championship again. It's just frustrating, especially watching them try to do hack a Shaq on Steven Adams, and he walks away with like I don't know 50% of his free throws made. It's just like that's very lazy defense. You could walk away with them scoring nothing, but you give Steven Adams 1 free throw every trip. And it's just like, are we really competitive right now? And which is surprising because Jimmy Butler's on that team, Draymond Green is on that team. Why am I not seeing more fuel to this fire? And I still think Warriors take it, but I really don't want them to. I want to be freed from this team.
I want to be freed.
Bro, like being a forced fan of them because of the spin the wheel we did earlier. Like it's been an up and down season, and I just want to be done with it at this point.
Yeah, I haven't missed a single game of this one. It's looking bad out there for the Warriors. I honestly think they will win this Game 7 because the Rockets, like, just like they blew them out in the last 2 games, yes, but they're not playing good. The Warriors are just playing bad. Like Curry is low-key playing bad sometimes, and Jimmy Butler is still obviously injured. There was a moment in Game 4 where he started hobbling, like literally on the court, hobbling around the court after every jump shot, grabbing that hip. So I honestly even though I think the Warriors will win, I don't think they deserve to, and it looks like they're playing to get out of the first round. It doesn't look like they're playing to win it. It looks like they're just like, we can't go out in the first round. Let's at least beat the Rockets. Steve Kerr, bad coach. I honestly full-heartedly believe that more and more. he's starting to play every single guy on his bench. Like that's become a regular thing since Jimmy Butler went down that first time. The only guy not playing is Kaminga. And I don't know why. I don't know what he did to Steve Kerr. I don't know if he slapped him, spat in his food, like told him he's ugly. Like I don't know what he did to Steve Kerr to be the only player to regularly not being played, bro. Kevin Knox has seen the floor more than Jonathan Kaminga, and I
Bro.
don't get it.
If I'm Kaminga, I see Cam Spencer, I see Gui Santos check in before me. I'm fuming on that bench.
Odds is literally Tony Snelling, and I'm getting DMPs, bro.
I've watched a few of these games. Not every single one, but I don't know. I think the Rockets coming off these past 2 wins. I think, and they're playing also at home. I think they'll come out on top. And I feel like the Warriors are in the same position as the Lakers. You know, they're kind of seeing the effects of midseason trades. You know, and not everyone it gets a Kawhi. You know, a Kawhi type of run. So it's not that necessarily Jimmy Butler ruined the Warriors. It's just her and them haven't figured out an effective system to where they can all be used effectively and efficiently. So I think the Warriors, the Rockets will win, and the Warriors will be off to Cancun.
Yeah, I don't blame you for saying that. I honestly like if they win tonight or tomorrow, I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised at all. I will be surprised if the Warriors walk away from this as they have done in the past when they lose bad games or they struggle and they think nothing's actually wrong with them.
Yeah.
Because clearly something's wrong with this organization right now.
And it's going to be even worse if they win this game. Like, sure, they'll have, I guess, some kinds of rest. They'll probably have, like, they play tomorrow, you said?
They play Sunday, so they'll have only Monday to rest.
Yeah, like, obviously, that's not enough time to heal your tailbone and whatever else they got going on. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just better off that they lose now and try and work over the summer than trying to continue in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, in game 5, they literally didn't play their starters for the entire second half because they were down by 40.
Yeah.
Like, before we move on to Nuggets Clippers, do you see either the Rockets or the Warriors beating the Timberwolves?
Not now, not anymore after round 1.
I think we might see the Wolves for the first time in our lifetime in the conference finals.
No, they went to the conference finals against the Mavs last year.
Oh shit.
Maybe I'm a little crazy, but I think they have a shot at the Thunder now at this point.
No,
I don't know.
I
don't think anyone has a shot.
I think that's
against
crazy. I think that's crazy.
I don't think anyone has a shot against the Thunder.
I think they could embarrass them in some games.
What, bro? I think that
maybe 6. Thunder and 6. Maybe Thunder and 6.
Yeah,
I think it might be Thunder and 5 though.
Like,
let's not pop off one game.
Let's not forget that the Timberwolves team, like they did this to the Suns last year, and then after that it was Nuggets to 7. Then the Mavs absolutely destroyed them. So I feel like
Luka destroyed them.
And Kyrie also.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So I feel like they are gonna have an easy road to the conference finals, and I feel like the Thunder are gonna. I think the Thunder will beat them in 5.
I've already said I'm not doubting him no more, bro. Timberwolves in 7.
He said he's my Tom Brady.
Moving on, Nuggets Clippers. Game 7 is literally in 13 minutes. How Have y'all been watching this game, this series? Have y'all been keeping up? What do you think so far? Who do you think will win tonight?
I need to watch today's game because every game I watch, the Nuggets win. That crazy Aaron Gordon dunk, Jokic being the maestro that he is. It's been a fun series, but I'm also just a Clippers hater. We know this, so I'm saying Nuggets take this one.
By default, Nuggets in 7. I think this has by far been the best series of the playoffs thus far, and it might be the best series of the playoffs, depending on how obviously everything goes. But it's been pretty entertaining seeing the Nuggets kind of do their thing with no coach, or a player coach, I should say, in Jokic. And it's also cool to see, Kawhi going back in his vintage bag, essentially, and, him playing as a player that he's should have been all these years on the Clippers. Same with Harden. He's not prime Harden, but, he's doing his job well enough to help the Clippers win. I think I got the Nuggets, though. I predicted the Clippers, but I think I got the Nuggets only because the altitude, bruh. I know they've been playing there all series, but like, bro, it's Denver. I'm sure y'all fans are pretty crazy now at this point. I don't know. I think I got the Nuggets, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, I got the Nuggets too. The Clippers haven't beat us at home since game 2. And that was a very close game. The only reason why they beat us, I'm pretty sure, is because we just made a bad decision to not foul them, if I remember correctly. And then I'm pretty sure that was also because, yeah, that was the game Kawhi shot 78% from the field. So that was also. So I feel like we're getting the dub tonight, but I'm worried, bro. I am so worried because the one thing that people keep forgetting about that Aaron Gordon buzzer beater is, one, it's still iffy if that actually counts. I don't know the rules about that, but people are saying that like his hand was still on the ball, so it didn't count. I don't care, bro. It went in the hoop.
Give me that win. A win is a win, bro.
A win is a win. But people are forgetting that the only reason why that happened was because Jokic airballed
Yeah.
He airballed that so poorly, and the Clippers thought they won, so they didn't even box out. That's why that happened. So, like, it's kind of worrying, bro. I'm kind of worried about what this game will look like, because
But that was also in LA.
yeah. But still, like, it's just rough. Like, Jamal Murray, he's insane. He is one of my favorite players, like, of all time. But the fact that he can go from 43 points to 21, shooting 40, like putting up 20 shots and only making 9 of them.
Oh my
Like,
how many free throws did he have?
one free throw.
That's crazy.
So I just think that it's gonna be a close game, and I think we can win it. But honestly, I've already accepted if we lose, I won't freak out. Because it took Kawhi Leonard to be basically made of steel to be like, when was the last time we had a player? I guess he was the last player to do this, to basically be out the entire season and then come back in the playoffs and basically be the best player in the entire series. He's better than Jokic in this series right now. He is going crazy, and it's making me so mad because why did he have to do this against us?
Because he's not trying to go out in the first round again.
Yeah, bro. We'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, the Clippers haven't won since game 2 in Denver, so I'm pretty positive we'll win. But I don't know. The Nuggets also haven't won in LA since game 4, so it clearly doesn't mean anything.
I think the only way y'all lose is if Harden and Kawhi drop 40.
Yeah.
Maybe 70 combined, but
yeah.
I just don't have faith in Harden because playoff Harden's shown in flashes and he's not looked good certain times.
right.
It's really just the Kawhi part that's so scary.
Kawhi and Norman Powell. Like, why is Norman Powell doing so good this series, bro?
I think they just make it easier for Powell. And shout out to Zubac, bro. He's holding it down against Jokic. He is making it hell for Jokic. It's the hardest I've had to see Jokic work for his points and assists and even his rebounds. He's forcing Jokic to have to guard him because if not, he's dunking. He's getting the alley oops. He's getting the offensive rebound.
I mean, he held Jokic in game 5. He held Jokic to 13 points. Jamal Murray won us game 5 because he held Jokic to 13 points. He shot for 30. Like,
yeah. I don't think anyone predicted that happening. Even Clippers fans, as much as they love Zubac, like the effect he's having on this series might be the biggest of any player besides Kawhi and Jokic himself. But awesome series so far. Can't wait for the game tonight.
and then, of course, the Thunder play on Monday, I think, against whoever wins. Do you see either of these teams beating the Thunder?
Nope.
There's no universe I see the Clippers escaping. I think if you have Jokic, you have a chance, but it wouldn't be pretty. Guys like Michael Porter Jr. have to wake up, and I don't know if they're going to do that against the Thunder of all teams. And I think Jamal Murray has to be more consistent. He might have to drop 40 nearly every game, and that's going to be tough against the Thunder of all people. Lou Dort, SGA is not a bad defender himself. Aaron Wiggins, like we all know, their defensive side of the ball. It's just I don't want to count out the Nuggets if they make it there, but I can count out the Clippers if it gets to that point.
Yeah, like I think the Nuggets they're definitely capable of beating the Thunder. I just think with the way the Thunder look right now, it's really just going to come down to the Thunder's defense this entire playoff run. Just how well they play it, and the games they lose, it'll probably be because of defensive blunders. It's their offense is completely fine.
Yeah, I agree with y'all. I don't think either of them is gonna beat the Thunder. As a Nuggets fan, we will take it to 7 though, for sure. I totally no delusion at all. Think we will take it to 7 if we get there.
He said Nuggets in 7, bro.
But I think the Clippers, as good as they are, trying to as good as they have been past my expectations, I don't think they will put up a fight against the Thunder because unlike the Nuggets, the Thunder aren't inconsistent. Like, the problem with the Nuggets is that Michael Porter Jr., Murray, and Aaron Gordon have been streaky. Jokic is the only consistency on the Nuggets right now. And I think on the Thunder, that's not going to happen. So the Clippers won't get that break as they have been against the Nuggets. And I feel like if it's Thunder Clippers, I think the Thunder will get it in 5. But we'll see. Tonight, literally in 3 minutes, is Nuggets Clippers. So we will find out very shortly who will be meeting the Thunder. That's about it. Any last thoughts you guys want to throw out there? Anything you think we missed?
Nah, it's just playoffs have been good thus far. I feel like the playoffs haven't been this entertaining in a while. So it's good to see on that aspect. But I'm just excited for the rest of the playoffs. See what the script got in store.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited for the East side of things for once. Like
Yeah.
like it's. I don't want to say for once, but like I'm more excited than I have been in the past for the East side of things in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see who comes out in these game sevens. God, like I can't wait to be here next week with the Rockets winning and the Nuggets winning, because that's my perfect outcome. Is the Rockets win and the Nuggets win. Warriors get the fucking boot when my team moves on. I'm gonna be full of joy. If you're listening on audio platforms, make sure you give us that good old 5 stars, leave a review. If you're looking for that video format, we're on YouTube, so make sure you like and subscribe there. Let us know who you think will be winning in the second rounds, who you think will get. Well, for you guys, you will know who wins Game 7 because this comes out on Monday, and we're recording on a Saturday, so you will know before we do. So, yeah, we're on all social media platforms, so make sure you follow us there for clips, episode updates, and all that good stuff. Thank you for listening. We'll see you again next week. Happy 100 to us.